It's a great blessing today to have Bishop Nikodhim, Bishop of Boston and the Albanian Archdiocese in America. Your Eminence, we thank you for coming here in our radio station. It's the first time that you are coming to our radio station. It's a great blessing.
And a great blessing for me. It's a joy to be with you, Father Grigori, and to be with all of the faithful and the hard workers here at Radio NGJALLJA. Though I'm here for a difficult occasion, a sad occasion, still to be with brothers is to me one of the deepest joys.
And we thank you so much that you participated in for our Archbishop. So burial, and you were here present together with Father Mark Doku. Thank you so much, Your Eminence.
How could we not? Archbishop Anastasios was for us, and I believe for all Orthodox Christians throughout the world, a man of powerful witness of faith and triumph and resurrection in the face of adversity. So for us, it was necessary to be here so that we could both mourn with you, but also celebrate the great gift that this man has given, not just to Albania and not just to Albanians, but to the entire world.
We always, Your Eminence, had the great joy to talk to you in our radio station microphone, but today will be a special interview. Because when somebody loses his life, or her life in our church, we bring in mind three things. We bring in mind life, death, and also eternal life.
Yes.
What is the mystery of life, Your Eminence?
Oh, you may have me here for weeks and weeks speaking on this. Death is a mystery for us. We know some things, but we know so little about some things. For us, death is part of what we must endure as people, whether we are Christians or not Christians. Always death is asked of us. This is a part of the natural cycle in this world, which is not to say that we do not feel the tragedy or the loss, but it is something that is to be endured and something that is to be prepared for. This is part of what we do as people of faith, prepare for this end. And this is part of the great mystery.
What the Church teach its people, Your Eminence, about the meaning of life and how the Church prepares the people to live in this earthly life.
Always I think of Christ and the many, many people who would come to him, and not only those who needed healing, but also those who said, Master, what comes after this? And very consistently, very routinely, Christ speaks to them as he needs to, but mostly, instead of saying, oh, after this it will be like such and such and such, he redirects them. He points them again to here and to now. Christ is always trying to get us in the Gospels to focus on here and now. Sometimes as Christian people, it's tempting to think, oh, I am living for paradise, I am living for heaven. But I believe that Christ is saying, if we are not able to find him and be with him here, if we are not able to find and work towards peace and trust and love towards the people here, heaven will be a very foreign land. He says very consistently that we are to live here already the life of the angels, already the life of those who have passed into that great mystery, because we are supposed to be working here and now to find him, to have him in our lives, and to care for each other in the same way that he cares for us. So paradise or heaven is not for me something that is waiting. It is something that I believe I am asked day by day, moment by moment, to participate in right now.
It is created the idea for some people that the Church takes care only for the eternal life. It seems like this earthly life is nothing. So most important is for us to prepare to be concentrated in the eternal life. What is the answer? What is the true teaching of the Church about this?
For many years I was a pastor, and oftentimes people would say, I want to be married, or I want to have my child baptized. And I would say, okay. They call me on the phone, say, come to the church. I don't like to do the marriage or the baptism for strangers. We should know each other. We should begin already to be one family of faith. And so I think in the same way that eternal life calls us here and now to be already preparing, to be already participating in the one life of faith with each other. So for me, this is the goal, to be here and now, living as though we were already in paradise, living as though we had already passed through that mystery of death. Because if we are not living in that way, we may find that heaven is an uncomfortable place for us. If we have not already committed ourselves to working at love and peace and community, then what will we find in heaven? Many people think heaven is just everything that I want. But you are a father of children. You know that giving the child everything that they want is not only not healthy, but it is not. It does not keep them growing. It does, if they eat only the candy, if they have only the television, then it does not give them the strength that they need to go from day to day. Because we believe in eternal life, we must believe also that there is this possibility for eternal growth, so that in paradise things will not stay the same always, because there is always more of our all-powerful, all-loving, eternal God to know. We will grow in eternity, learning to know God better and better, and perhaps it will be frustrating, but perhaps it will be tremendously joyful for us in all of that time, in all of that absence of time, to know God more deeply. But we must begin here. We must begin in the time that we have in this world, with these bodies, with these communities that we are blessed to have.
Your Eminence, serving as a priest now for more than 1 decade, I've been also a clergy serving to the dead person, to dead person. But I've seen that the people, when they go for a death ceremony, all the people stay calm. Maybe they think about the death and so on. But after we finish the process, they go out from the cemeteries again, starting joking. Why the people remember only just in these moments they remember the death? And how can we learn our children, or can we talk to our children about death? Or it's not normal to talk about death? Because many people say that, even in the church, people go to church say that don't talk about death because it's better to talk about life and so on.
Well, in America, we are very divorced from death. There are many people in America who are my age, in their 40s and even older. They have never seen someone die. They have never seen a body. And for me, this is a great loss, because seeing these things, experiencing these things, helps to put away some of the fear that we have. There is fear partially because something is unusual or unknown. So I encourage that people go to the funerals. And in fact, the funeral is sometimes such a deep time of bringing together the whole community, especially for us who are spread across different states, different countries. The funeral, there in the center, is the one who has gone forward into the mystery of death, but gathered around that person, thanks be to God, their family, their friends. There is something that is staying with them, and so even as they come together, there is something productive. They grieve together. And yes, it is very natural as they leave the cemetery that maybe they feel nervous, so maybe they feel a little bit like joking. But I think the worst thing is for us to say, I don't want to look at death. I don't want to see death. Again, in America, we don't see, sometimes the coffin, if there is a coffin, is closed. We don't see the person. We don't go to the cemetery. Sometimes these days more and more, there are no services at the cemetery. Not so much for us Orthodox Christians, but for many Americans. And I think this is unhealthy, because whether we like it or we don't like it, we will all go that way. We will all have to pass through those uncomfortable places. So helping to be exposed to these things, to know them, experience them, and especially the community coming together to support each other, to grieve, and also to rejoice. It's an important work. Sometimes I go to the funeral or I go to the wake, and people are laughing, not because they are disrespectful, not because they are avoiding death, but here is a cousin or here is a friend I have not seen in 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. It's a return to community. And for me, this is something extremely valuable. How do we endure hard things in this life? It's not by running from them, and it's not by closing ourselves away in solitary, as a solitary. It's by experiencing them and by having trust that there is a community around us and being part of that community that helps us to walk through difficult things.
Your Eminence, many Orthodox parents think about only for their child success in this earthly life.
Mm-hmm.
And at least not so many parents prepare their children for their real life, how to support this life and how to live these lives and how to get prepared for the next life. So is it good for the parents, for us, to take care of the children, to make them success in their life, or it's good also to talk to them, to say them the truth about the real meaning of the life in itself?
I can always tell as a pastor which children pray at home. They know to make their cross. They know some simple prayers. And yes, the job of the parents is to prepare the child for life. I think, though, that there is, regardless of their career, regardless of their vocation, the saints set before us a wonderful diversity of ways in which we find God. We find God in the stories of the saints as monks, as nuns, as shopkeepers and gardeners, as politicians. None are more important than the other. Every path, I believe, can be a path to God. But we have to make and we have to teach our children that that is the goal. That is the goal. And then they will find, with their talents and by the generosity and the support of the family, they will find that whether they are a priest or a monk or a nun or a banker or a doctor or someone who cleans the house, that their road is always pointed in that direction of God. And then we need not concern ourselves about their well-being.
Your Eminence, the last question is about our Archbishop Anastasios. You mentioned at least at the beginning of our interview. But who was the Archbishop Anastasios? How you see him and how the Albanians reacted when they heard that he passed away? So all your church members in America.
We found out the news only on that Saturday. And I was with the children. We were going to the museum on a trip for the children. And most of the children, they are not old enough to know these things. But I think that in my diocese, amongst the Albanians in America, we feel this sense of deep love and loss. In my diocese especially, we know in a different way that we lost our fathers, our own bishop, Archbishop Nikodhim, in 2019, and our own chancellor, Father Arthur Lyle, just a year and a half ago. We walked through hard times, as it is always when someone who is so much a powerful figure of love, kindness, and leadership. So we felt immediately the need to try to support. But beyond that, Archbishop Anastasios, in his sacrificial ministry for his whole life, in Greece, in Africa, and for so many, many years in Albania, he has shown a way of living, one that is marked always by joy and gentleness. The first time I met the Archbishop, I myself was a student, and I just remember going with a group of others on a trip and sitting with him in his office. He gave us this watermelon. He said, it is specially grown. It's still, in my memory, the sweetest watermelon ever I've had. But even there in a group, he was able, as he spoke to each person, to make them know that they were seen, that they were recognized as someone who is worth living, that they were a child of God. Over the years, I have seen the Archbishop here and there as I'm able to come and visit the Church of Albania. And always he has spoken with gentleness and kindness, even when there were hard things to speak about. At the funeral, it was a witness to the entire world, I believe, because behind the altar we had so many bishops from the whole world in a way that is almost unknown. And in the church, gathered near the body, we had the politicians and the dignitaries, but also the simple people. He has gathered the world to himself, not because he is such a good man, though he was, but because he lived the life of Christ, because he was willing to put behind him his own ego and his own wants, and because in so doing, he was able to be that center of community. The Father is the one who shows us hard things sometimes, but always with gentleness and with a love that we never doubt. I don't know that anyone ever doubted the love of Archbishop Anastasios for them. And to me, this is a miraculous thing, and it is the work of God in this man. So we are grateful to stand with you in this time of grief and loss, but also of rejoicing that such a great witness of Christ has been with us, not just has been with us, but that the work of his hands now continues in you, in the Church of Albania, and for all who were blessed to know him and to benefit from his wisdom, his gentleness, his kindness, and his love.
Your Eminence, it's a great blessing to talk to you every time we meet, we have a chance to meet.
Thank you, Father.
And also the interview, even in these circumstances, situations, still it's very blessing to hear your words. And
thank you.
We're so happy you were here today with us in our radio station.
I am so happy to be here. For so many years, it has been a comfort to me. In America, though we are in the Albanian diocese, many people speak English. But to know that there was a place for those who speak Albanian, can learn from the Albanian, and your radio station and all of the media of Radio NGJALLJA has been a blessing to us, continues to be a blessing to us, because it is a place where I can feel confident, and my pastors, my priests, my sons can feel confident to say, oh, go listen to this. We have such faith and gratitude in you and all of the good work that you do, because you share the ministry and you share that love of Christ and that communal sense of how we draw near to Christ so well in what you do. So I'm deeply grateful.
And we thank you so much, Your Eminence, even for the support you have given for our radio station. Even the studio is a support from your diocese. And also, the last support will be about our martyrs of the faith during the communist time.
Yes, we are very excited for this project. It is important, vitally important, for everyone to know that even in the darkest hours, even in the world's first and, I hope, last atheist state, there were still those who were able to know God and to teach others to know God. It is important to know that however dark the night, there are still very, very deep, powerful flames burning inside of it.
Thank you so much, Your Eminence. Your blessing, and have a good flight.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.